this morning we announced that over the past several weeks I made a final decision to resign as the CEO of Tennis Australia after 20 incredibly privileged years as the tournament director, and the last 13 as the CEO as well, and to move on to the USTA. Before we do that though, I'm going to work closely with the board to support them in finding a new leader for the organization, as well as we've got quite a few things which we're in the process of getting completed for 27 and right through to 2030, not only for the event but also for the sport. So I'll work closely with the team on that. We just had the full team together. We had them again together last night going through it, and I can tell you their spirits remain high after coming off the back of the most successful event we've ever had, and we look forward to the work that we need to do over the coming months before I actually make the trip across the ditch.
Why did you do it?
I think, look, there's a few reasons, and that's a good question, Nick. There is a personal reason as well that's important as well. For my family to be close to their grandparent and to their aunts and uncles, which they never have. You know, they're born here in Australia, and I think it's an opportunity for them to do that at this stage in their lives. I also believe that that there's never really a good time to leave any place, but the organisation Tennis Australia is in the best shape it's ever been, and I've said from a leadership perspective, there's two marks of really good leadership. One is that you leave a place in better shape it was when you started, and then when you're gone for several years, it continues to grow and excel, and I'm absolutely convinced that'll be the case here. So that was the opportunistic moment, and also then I was offered a role by the USTA in being their CEO, and I think there's another opportunity as we work on global tennis collectively, and in the US work on helping them grow the game specifically and get more people to play. So combination of factors, not one specific reason.
How long has it taken you to get to the decision?
Conversation started at the end of last year, and then we parked it during the Australian Open because we didn't want to. I didn't want the story to be about this role or me, and I wanted to be about the great work the team are doing and delivering the event. And then after the event, had a chance to again give it some thought and then make the final commitment.
Did it mean that during this year's tournament you were sort of having that feeling of this is the last one and maybe looking at it a little differently?
I didn't. I think I compartmentalized the thoughts pretty quickly. I was very focused on delivering the best event we had, and I felt really good about it, and it actually suits my personality perfectly, because if I had have said before the tournament I was leaving, I wouldn't want to deal with all the thank yous and farewells. I just wanted everyone to move on and for the team now to get ready for 2027. So I wanted to make as much as possible to live our values as an organization in the decision. That's of humility and excellence, imagination and collaboration, and to make sure that those values were accentuated.
What are some of the changes you've brought in that you're proudest of?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Proudest of, I guess, you were 20 years leading.
You know, I've been at this early this morning and late last night, so I haven't had much chance to reflect yet, because when you make a decision then things move pretty quickly, and that's what's happened. But I think the thing I'd say I'm the most proud of in reflection is the high-performing team we've put together. It doesn't go as noticed as, because I'm always having the conversation publicly, but it doesn't go noticed enough, is that we've got some brilliant executives, brilliant senior leaders. It's a diverse team. It's men and women. It's an inclusive team. And if I look at sporting organizations across the globe and you put our team against that, is that it's one of the best in the world. And I feel incredibly proud. And that's why I said if I walk away, I don't think that they'll miss a beat. It's the team that delivers everything. So that would be the most proud. And then I think the fact that we have a transformative attitude and an imaginative and an innovative attitude. We're willing to take big bets as far as changes go, and we'll jump in the deep end and figure it out later. And I think that organizations had that attitude. And I think all of you that I've had a relationship with over many years have understood that well.
Craig, to confirm.
Nick? Well, I think the festivalization of the event has been the most transformative, and then taking our production rights in-house. And so we became the masters of our own destiny. When I became CEO back in 2013, the very first thing that we said to the team is that we're going to make this not a tennis event. We're going to make it an sporting entertainment event. And over the next 10 years, we're going to be the largest sporting event globally. We're going to be the largest one in Australia, and we're going to own the month of January when it comes to sport. And I think we can pretty much say we're at that point. So the transformation to that point. Now, we've added the pillar of beauty this year. We'll add the pillar of fashion. We've already got the pillar of food, young kids and family, music, and why not? It's 3 weeks, can be 4 weeks. Australia's largest music festival, largest food festival, largest fashion festival, largest beauty festival. We can get to all those points, and particularly proud of what's been achieved along that. And I think what we've done for the city of Melbourne and the state of Victoria is remarkable. We've far surpassed any of the targets that we said that we committed to way back earlier, and we've done it independently. We've done it in great partnership with the Victorian government. But most importantly, I think we can sit back today and you can say, honestly, each of us here and all of you can feel incredibly proud that you are here in Melbourne and that you put this event on to the rest of the world. And
Craig, to confirm,
yeah.
You're adamant that your successors should have both roles, that you shouldn't split the running the tournament and running the sport?
Yeah, let me address that, because I've been asked that a few times, is that unfortunately there were two names in my title. It was one role. You're the CEO of the organization. Your responsibility is end to end on the organization. You become the public face of the organization. I don't believe that's to change. There's great people that could do even a better job than I've done, and so I don't think the board will have any problem finding a great person to lead the organization. The board have stated unequivocally it'll be one role, and you wouldn't want a separation of the roles, because the event is one of the key elements of what we do here in Australia, but the most important one is getting people to play the game. So you'll see it'll be one role, and hopefully we'll stop the narrative that it's two roles. I was always told you got two jobs, and I woke up every morning and never knew I had two jobs. Anyone else told me I had two jobs. I had one job.
Do you think someone who's watched you go and master those two roles together, do you think someone who's watched you within the team is the best person to then step into?
I think there's great choices within the team, but I'm going to leave that to the board. It's their ultimate decision. We've got a new chair in Chris Harrop, who's actually been on the board for a couple of years, and he's immediately had an impact. He's a great leader for the organisation, for the board. We're very lucky. If you look at our board, the diversity of our board, the expertise of our board, I mean, I think most sports globally would look at that board on its skill and expertise and say, wow, how do we get to that point? So that's, when Nick asked the question earlier about reflect and proud, and I think I am proud of that as well, because we've had a role to play in that. So I don't have any doubt that there will be a great candidate, and I think there's some great ones internally.
Will you be on the interview panel?
I don't know if I'll be on the panel. It'll be up to the board, but my voice will certainly be loud.
Craig, unlike Tennis Australia, the USTA hasn't reached a settlement with the Players Association.
Yeah.
Do you have a view on how that could be achieved?
My view, first and foremost, and it has been the same view I've had since I was the CEO, is that global tennis has a big opportunity. It needs to be better understood by the fans. If I asked you what happened last week as a fan, could you tell me who won what event? Does it have a story? No. It needs to be better for the players. Do the players have a longer enough off-season? No. Are more players making sufficient enough money? No. So I will say that same thing no matter where I am, is that the sport can be better aligned, and we can do a better job for our fans and for the players, and it's on us. Whether it be on Tennis Australia or the other 3 Grand Slams or the men's tour, the women's tour, it's on us to do it. So everyone has to get together and figure it out, and I'll do whatever I need to do in the role to ensure that we are getting together and figuring it out. And right now there is a lawsuit that's been dealt with, each independently, but ultimately it'll all come together, and I'm pretty optimistic and confident of that taking place.
As you look to the US Open, I understand, I haven't been, but I understand it's quite different to what we offer here, particularly around that festivalisation that you spoke about. Has that been part of the discussions as what you can hopefully bring to other events around the world?
Look, I haven't turned my mind to exactly what needs to happen, but I need to go to, like any new environment, listen, learn, talk to people. One thing that's unique about each 4 slams, each has their own identity. We've built a magnificent identity here, one we're incredibly proud of. The Wimbledon has theirs, the French have theirs, the US have theirs. So that maintaining the uniqueness of that identity, I think, is really important as well. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't forget, why do we do these events? We do it to grow and promote the sport, and we should never lose sight of that. We have these events so people can get excited about this beautiful game, and I challenge anyone in any sport. This game, you play it your whole life. You can do it with men and women. We're proud of over 40 years of paying equal prize money. You can do it in the park by yourself. You can do it with a partner. You can do it when you're 95 years old. And it's just such a beautiful game, and that's why I'm in love with it. And I'm going to be in a different environment helping promote that.
Before this year's tournament even finished, you were talking about what your future plans are: bigger, better, more and more. What will you be handing over to your successor to make sure? What's the number one thing you want to see actually happen?
Well, I want my successor to put their own stamp and their own mark on it, obviously, but most importantly to have the privilege of leading a great team. And I will be making sure that whoever is in that role, that I have lots of opportunity to share with them how great the team is and the work that they do, because often that's not understood until someone tells them. And then the specifics, we've left a great platform for anyone to take the next step. We have big plans here. I've said before, I think there's, we have a great relationship with the Collingwood Football Club about more space in January. And I'll go back to the things that I keep really simple. We need, on this precinct, we need 4 things. We need more seats, we need more shade, we need more screens, and we need more space if we want to grow. And everyone knows that. So I've kept it simple. Any more S's than those 4, I'll have a problem. But
Can you see the Americans embracing like the party attitude that is now embraced the Australian?
Oh, look, Nick, I don't know the answer to that question. I think a lot of things we've got to go and figure out. There's a lot of things they do really, really well and should be very proud of. And I'll go and spend some time with the team and listen to what they're thinking, because they've also got a vision for the future. And they're in the middle of a massive redevelopment of both Arthur Ashe and other facilities, and that takes a lot of time and effort. And it's what's unique about these slams is they are the most magnificent sporting events, and they happen 4 times a year. Olympics once every 4 years, and football once every 4 years. But in tennis, you have these 4 major global events, 4 times a year. So we're very lucky.
And will you see the 1 point slam in New York, and how would you rate its success in Melbourne?
Yeah, how good was 1 point slam? There's a good example of just going for it. Made a decision on the 11th hour. What the heck? We'll put $1 million on, but just the winner. No one gets paid to play it, and we'll go and talk to Carlos and Iga and ask them to come and play, and we'll put it in Rod Laver and fill the stadium. And by the way, we'll go and have 2 months beforehand, let everyone in Australia have a go, and how successful that was. I think you'll see that more around the world, not just here in Australia, because it's so unique. And what was interesting about that, which we didn't predict, is that the number of young people that have nothing to do with sport, those that are on the couch on their screen playing games, engaging with that like it was a game. And so I think we're going to see a lot more of that. And team did a magnificent job on that.
And on the court, what has been the highlight of the last 20 years? What was the one moment that you thought captured?
So I can always talk to that because I have the great privilege of being in this role. There have been great players of the game: Roger Federer, Serena Williams, Rafa Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and the list goes on. But probably the one event highlight for me was 2012. Remember the challenges we all had right around the end of COVID, and how difficult it was at the beginning with the Novak situation, who I'm very close friends with even today and was beforehand. But Ash Barty winning, and then Rafa coming back from 2 sets and a breakdown to beat Daniel and win that title. That was 2 beautiful people that have an impact on our game, and having an Aussie win it, which I wished for every year, and then having someone that's just such a great person in Rafa winning it after being down and out, and so yeah, but there's so many highlights, the years that Roger won it, and some of these new champions we have now. I mean, we've transitioned into another level of tennis. Remember the semi-final Friday and the women's final? That's why I made a comment about I would like to have seen more of that women's tennis. Why not 5 sets? Because it was so good. So so there will be many highlights, and I'll ask you that question at some point, Nick, because I'm sure you got a few.
You've always had amazing camaraderie with the players themselves.
Yeah.
What's been the reaction since this announcement? Has the phone been going?
Yeah, Prue's been holding my phone. It's non-stop buzzing. I did say to someone when we made this announcement this morning, I wasn't looking forward to the next few days because I don't like not to answer people, so I want to respond to everyone. but it's going to be a long day and night in it, and I'm just incredibly proud of what people are saying, and I love the comments, particularly when they talk about everyone, not about me, and they talk about the team and about the city of Melbourne, and the Australian Open, and everyone loves it. Everyone loves the Australian Open, and I will not stop promoting it as one of the greatest places to be and one of the greatest events to participate in.
Can you imagine coming back and just being a spectator in the stands?
No, I can imagine having sleep though in January. It'll be hard, but I came here before as a coach, before getting the job, and I've never known a period of time 20 years to go by as quickly as they did, but it's time for someone else to have a go.
Any
When
regret?
do you actually finish up?
Don't know that, because I want to work with the team on making sure that we get a person in place, have a proper handover, make it as seamless as possible, so however long that takes.
Any regrets, Craig? 20 years is a long time, and you butt heads with a lot of people, a lot of politicians of all colours. It's
Yep, I you know I am. I'm you know, if I want to get something done, I don't stop going for it, and I don't accept no as an answer. So that can be difficult for people at times, but I hope I've done it respectfully. I love the people we work with. I love the people in the city. When I first came here, I remember my first hour in the city. I walked around the city of Melbourne and absolutely fell in love with it. That was 25, 30 years ago. And so that'll be a sad bit to leave, but I think you'll have to ask other people if I've rubbed them up the wrong way. I put the precinct under the pump on things that we need. I've always done it personally, though, never publicly, and I've also challenged our own team and challenged others to be better, but also make sure that they're rewarded for their great effort.
When you do get to come, I imagine you're going to come back and just enjoy the Australian Open as a spectator.
Yeah.
What's the thing you're going to do in this precinct that maybe you haven't had a chance to do when you were boss?
Well, I think when I come back, it won't be a spectator because we'll probably have board meetings and be really busy, and I will have a really hard time not giving someone advice. But I'll have to go to you guys for that advice. But I think the vision I've always spoken about this precinct is that it's got so much opportunity to develop further, and whether it's temporary or permanent infrastructure doesn't really matter. But I'd like to see us as a precinct expand across the street to the Oval. If there's a way that street in those 3 weeks could be just a footpath, would be fantastic. But I think a lot of people won't like that. And then ultimately, I think it'd be great to have another stadium at some point. There's been a lot of talk of that. I think we can reconfigure the courts on this side because we have a lot of people that just actually want to watch tennis. And in 27, we'll make some announcements. Probably before I go, about what's going to happen, and we really kind of lined up what would be really unique for fans. It's going to be unbelievable what's going to happen in 27. And then I would like one day to have seen this entire precinct covered in a translucent material that's completely weatherized, every court and every experience. So heat and rain are never an issue. And if we want to be a sustainable event and a sustainable experience, there's a way to do that. And I've been telling people something like that exists. I'm not too sure where, but surely it does. If we've got robots that are dancing, we've got something like that somewhere, I'm sure.
I was expecting you to say head into the Mecca and have a peach ice cream or something. Right?
We've done that already.
You've already done it. Excellent.
The way you were talking about it, you'll definitely be gone before next year's tournament.
Yes, yes.